Don't give up, you know it's true. You gotta do what you wanna do.
Hello, welcome to UPSC Gangsters. This is Arjun Aryan. Today we're looking into the Hindu business news. So the business news analysis for the date 20th September 2017. Alright, so let's get into it. So the first heading, GST refund, mini social crisis brewing. Alright, this is the heading of it. The subheading, delay in refunds causes working capital crunch. Exporters struggle to pay salary, Diwali bonuses. Alright, so this news piece is about the social crisis that is in the making because the GST refund did not make it on time. Alright, and the associations are getting behind the government to make it happen on time. Alright, so let's get to the first point. Exporters are troubled by the inordinate delay in getting goods and services tax refunds. On Tuesday, representative associations told the centre that since the working capital crunch owing to the delay is occurring in the middle of festival season, it was causing difficulties in paying salary and Diwali bonuses to workers. Alright, so basically the GST has been paid by the firms and the businesses, alright, and the refund which is supposed to come later, I mean in a month or a few days within the stipulated time, has not reached them. Alright, so basically this is about GST's basic norm. Alright, so basic feature of GST. So someone pays taxes for the current month at each level, alright, and these taxes get added up as a credit. Alright, so just like value added tax, but in this case the taxes get added up in your credit, in your account. Alright, so finally those credits will be returned to you, alright, in money, okay, or when you pay the next cycle of taxes, it will be deducted. So this will encourage people to pay the taxes, because without paying GST you cannot make use of the credit structure. Alright, so that is how people would opt for GST. Else if you're not paying the GST, if you're gonna not pay GST, you will lose the credits, alright, for future. So that will be a problem, and nobody would like to do that. Alright, so therefore they will go for paying in GST, I mean paying under GST. Alright, so next point. In a meeting with Revenue Secretary Hashmukh Adia, who chairs the Committee on Experts to address GST related problems, exporters sought the centre's immediate intervention to avert what they call a mini social crisis. Alright, so this is self-explanatory. Let's head to the next point. EEPC, which is Engineering Export Promotion Council, India, said the authorities ought to release at least 90% refunds immediately after the shipments and let verification and adjustment be done at a later stage. This will help small and medium exporters to tide over their blockage of funds and allow them to pay salaries and bonuses of workers in the festival season. Our members have pointed out that they are in a desperate situation, and hence the government must intervene to avoid a mini social crisis. Alright, so what the EEPC, which is the Engineering Export Promotion Council, alright, it is a body for engineering export businesses. Alright, so they are demanding from the government that 90% of the refunds should be released immediately. Alright, because the festive season is also going on and they are supposed to give some bonuses and all that. So at least 90% is required to strike a balance, they are saying. Alright, and later on you can take care of the adjustments that happen. Alright, when it comes the adjustments that happen with the credits. Alright, so that because the GST's credit is based on different tiers, alright, so different levels, so that kind of adjustment can be done later, they're saying. Alright, so exemption sought, that is the next heading. Alright, so next heading is exemption sought. The demands of the apex body for the country's exporters, the Federation of Indian Export Organizations. So make note of this one. Alright, the Federation of Indian Export Organization. This is supposed to be the apex body of the country's exporters. Alright, so the FIEO said in a statement that it is not fair to expect micro and small units to borrow to pay for taxes, which in any case will be refunded. Why not an outright exemption window be provided to exporters? It added that alternatively an e-wallet may be created so that money flows out while paying GST on inputs required for exports or procurement of exports goods by merchant exporters, and money is recredited to the wallet once the proof of exports is given. Alright, so this FIEO, they're asking for 3 separate demands. Alright, so first demand would be exemption from the GST. Alright, because there were a lot of nations that have GST and have exempted exported goods from it. Alright, for example, Malaysia does not charge GST on exports. Alright, so there are a lot of countries who do that. So the same way they're asking, because as micro and small businesses, right, even for paying the taxes they are supposed to get loans. GST would be a huge amount during the first pay. Alright, when the credit comes, it will cancel out itself, so it will subtract and you will get the amount in your hand and all that. But while you're paying the GST, it's kind of a problem for them because they are getting loans and all. Alright, so they are saying for getting loans for micro and small businesses they're speaking about. Alright, so getting a loan for paying the GST, making them get loans to get to pay for the GST and all is not fair, they are saying. Alright, so they want them to be exempted. Next thing what they're saying is have an e-wallet. Alright, so e-wallet where the credits can be added while they are paying the GST. Alright, so ideally there will no calculation and all that. As such, at different levels they want the e-wallet to have the funds. Alright, that's what is mentioned. It added that alternatively an e-wallet may be created so that money flows out while paying GST on inputs required for exports or procurement of exports goods by merchant exporters. Alright, so this is the point. Next one, the FIEO also noted that merchandise exports from India scheme, service exports from India scheme, MEIS and SEIS. Alright, so merchandise exports from India scheme, MEIS, service exports from India scheme, SEIS. So these two. Alright, so and duty credit scripts. So duty credit scripts, you wouldn't have heard about the word scripts. So scripts are basically acknowledgement of loans and will be given in the form of temporary shares. Alright, usually when the business is running out of cash, so it's like a token that is given to you. Okay, but the token is not equivalent to money, but it will be equivalent to the share of whatever small company it is. Alright, so that is like an adjustment when they are actually running out of cash. Okay, so FIEO has suggested all these things. Okay, and let's continue with the point. Be permitted. Alright, these MEIS, SCIS and duty credit scripts. Alright, be permitted for payment of integrated GST and central GST. Alright, so all these things they want them to be permitted for the GST and central GST. Alright, so next one, the same point, next line. Besides, utilization of scrips could be considered for payment of bank interest, it said. Alright, so you can use scripts, that is those temporary things that are given to you in in forms of shares, those acknowledgement. Okay, so they can be used, alright, to get loans and all that, they are saying. Exporters also sought exemption from IGST, which is integrated GST, alright, IGST on imports under advance authorization and export promotion capital goods schemes. So advance authorization, okay, advance authorization and export promotion capital goods schemes. So if you're kind of importing those goods, that will increase the capital goods of a country, that will increase, that will add up to the production of the country. Those things should be exempted from IGST. These are their claims. Alright, so this is all about this news piece. So let's get to the next one. Next one, the heading is New Policy May Help Revive Interest in Coal Bed Methane. That is a main heading. So subheading, OALP and HELP will increase investment in coal-rich India. Let's get on to the first point. India has the third largest reserves of coal in the world. So this is a fact. So have it in mind. Alright, so India has the third largest coal reserve in the world. Alright. So therefore, the expectation is that there is also a high potential for coal bed methane. So they're saying basically this is common sense. Coal is there, so coal bed methane would also be there. So coal bed methane is something that is found below the coal layers. Alright, those gases that are stuck beneath the coal bed. Alright, so that is obviously there, they are saying. Alright, so this was said by Prashant Modi, CEO of Great Eastern Energy Corporation. Great Eastern Energy Corporation. Alright, so next point. The problem so far has been a lack of investor interest, which should now recover due to the new open acreage licensing policy. Okay, that is only OALP, introduced by the government, he said in an interview. So OALP, remember what OALP stands for. Alright, so he's saying because of the introduction of OALP, investors will pour in right now. Alright, before the situation was different and investors weren't coming in so much. Alright, so that is what he claims. So next point, open acreage license, OALP gives an option to a company looking for exploring hydrocarbons to select the exploration blocks on its own. Alright, so this is another important point. So what is the new thing about OALP? What is the new thing about this policy? They can choose their own fields, alright, their own blocks. They can do their exploration, they can do all their investigation behind it, alright, and they can choose their own block. It's not like the government is gonna look for some blocks, do the investigation and all that, and then give it out for auction. This one is the other way around. Alright, these people can choose. So next line, company looking for exploration hydrocarbons to select exploration blocks on its own without waiting for the formal bid round from the government. Alright, so this is important. Just like I said, they needed to wait for the auction to take place, the governmental auction to take place. They can submit their own, alright, based on the investigation done by them. So next line, under OALP, a bidder intending to explore hydrocarbons like oil and gas, coal bed methane, gas hydrate, etc., may apply to the government seeking exploration of a new of any new block. Alright, so any new block in the sense not already covered by any sort of exploration. Okay, I mean by the government. The government will examine the expression of interest and justification. If it is suitable for award, government will call for competitive bids after obtaining necessary environmental and other clearances. Alright, so doing all these procedures, going through all these procedures, they will start to open the block. Alright, it's not like the private companies can go and ask the government and the government will straight away open the block. Alright, that is not that is not how it works. So next point under this, OALP was introduced through a cabinet decision of the government dated 10/3/2016. So it is almost more than an year. Alright, as part of the new fiscal regime in exploration sector called HELP, or Hydrocarbon Exploration and Licensing Policy. So you should know what HELP stands for. They might quiz you into asking about HELP and making it sound like it stands for something else. So basically they will ask you what HELP does, and they would probably give a wrong information about it, I mean, which is not at all connected with hydrocarbons and all that. So when something like that happens, you should know that no, this is not something away from hydrocarbons or petroleum and all that. So which is very much these things, I mean, this is very much within the structure of hydrocarbons and exploration. So, okay, so that you should know. The next line, they have removed the cost recovery structure, which was a big headache. Revenue sharing is much cleaner and simpler. The other major issue that they cleared partially was of pricing and marketing freedom. Going forward, if it is market priced, people will invest. So this is what Mr. Modi has said. Alright, so he's saying cost recovery structure has been removed here. Cost recovery is nothing but recovering the cost that was spent in getting that project. Alright, so maybe the government is saying you can pay in installments or something like that. There is some sort of arrangement that is making stuff easier now. Alright, so the cost recovery arrangement has been removed. So that is why he feels that it will be easier and a lot of investors will come in. Alright, next line, the legacy issues are over. The older fields are anyway depleting. November 15th is the first deadline for the expressions of interest. So let's see, by end December they will announce who will get what. Alright, so this is again said by Mr. Modi. So basically this is self-explanatory. November 15th is the first deadline. Alright, so anybody who's expressing their interest for the block allocation should do it by this time. Alright, and next subheading for this, no bidding. Alright, Mr. Modi said that there has not been a bidding round in CBM since 2010. CBM, coal bed methane. Alright, since 2010. DSF means discovered small fields. Alright, DSF means discovered small fields. So the DSF bids happened, but I don't think any of them have progressed up to now, he added. From the information I have, many of them are already in the market for sale. Alright, so he's saying the little bit of auctioning or the bidding that happened was for DSF. Alright, and that is also not proper, and many of them are up for sale, it seems. Alright, there is a lot of coal in India. It has the third largest reserves in the world, so there is scope for coal bed methane. And if the policy is right, then people will take the risk. There is enough coal bed methane resource, according to the government. The issue was that investment was not coming in. So this is how Modi has ended his views. Alright, so basically coal bed methane, the government is pushing forward to extract coal bed methane, and they have invited a lot of private investors into it. Alright, so let's see how that turns out in future. Let's go over to the next news piece in business. TRAI, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, cuts mobile termination charges by 57%. Eyes waiver by 2020. This is the main heading. Subheading: move to take effect from October 1 may lead to drop in call rates. Alright, this sounds like a good news for us. Alright, so this is going to affect everybody, so cheaper mobile tariff would be really good for everybody, right? So anyway, let's get to the first point. The Telecom Regulatory Authority of India on Wednesday slashed mobile termination charges by 57% to 6 paise per minute, with effect from October 1, in a move that is likely to lead to a reduction in call rates. So mobile termination charges, what mobile termination charges mean is when one network actually calls to another network. I mean, you make calls from one network to another network. So this is basically, for example, you can take from Vodafone, right? You have a Vodafone number and you making a call to Airtel. All right. From Vodafone, you are gonna actually get, the cost recovered. All right, because basically you're using Vodafone towers and you're paying them. But for the Airtel people, there is no money in this, because you are eventually calling a Airtel number, and Airtel will have its separate tower. So you're using their tower. Alright, so using their tower, you have to kind of pay them too, right? Because you're doing business at the expense of Airtel's tower. So that is only known as mobile termination charges. Alright, so the charges that is given to the other mobile operator who is receiving the call. Alright, so that is only mobile termination charges, and this the government has reduced by 57%. Alright, so this will have a deep effect on the mobile call rates, they say. Alright, this all happened as a reflection of Jio's introduction. Alright, Jio operates in 4G bands, you know that. So Jio had something like a proposal of 0% termination charges. Alright, so everybody else, they made an appeal to the TRAI to come to a mutual understanding of what the actual rate would be and how they will be compensated and all that. Alright, so next point under this, the regulator added that these charges will be completely done away with in January 1, 2020 onwards. So got it? So the mobile termination charges will be there till 2020, and after that the mobile termination charges will be waived. Alright, it won't be there anymore. So I told you what mobile termination charges stand for. If you remember the example, it will be easier for you to recall what it is about. Alright, so this can come in your prelims too. So mobile termination charges, what it is about, they might ask you with different options. So you should know this is actually related to the calls that happen between different networks, alright, different companies, and the compensation that is to be given by the company who is using the other company's tower. Alright, so that is all about it. Those are the important points in this news piece. Let's get to the next one. The main heading is Center Open to Solving Exporters' GST Woes. Subheading: alternate means to release credit likely. Alright, so just now we discussed about the GST credit problem. So now we are having an update on this very day that the government is coming forward to consider the problems and suggest solutions for it. Alright, so alternate means to release credit likely, that is the second subheading. Alternate means to release credit likely, meaning they might give you in the form of credits as such, not in cash and all. Okay, so alternate payments likely. First point under this, the government has indicated that it is open to solving the problems faced by exporters due to the delay in getting refunds of goods and services tax. according to exporters apex body FIEO. We just discussed about FIEO, that is Federation of Indian Export Organization. Alright, so this first point is self-explanatory. Second point, the government is open to an alternative mechanism for the release of input credits. They may release input credits on the basis of GSTR 1, GSTR 3B, and not wait for GSTR 2 and GSTR 3 to be filed. So these are different levels of filing a GST when you are owning a business. So they're gonna take into account only GSTR 1, GSTR 3B, alright, and they will not take into account the GSTR 2 and GSTR 3, alright, for releasing the tax credits, said Ajay Sahai, Director General FIEO, after a meeting with a government panel headed by the Revenue Secretary Hashmukh Atiya to address the exporters' problems due to the GST. According to FIEO, exporters were expecting that the integrated GST refund or refund of input tax credit would be available to them in August 2017 for the exports made during July 17. So basically the time frame of the time frame for the income tax tax credit, what they were expecting is during August 2017. Alright, they were expecting the inputs credit to come by August 2017, and the payment of GST was made on July 2017. So for July they were expecting the credits to come the next month, but now we know we are another month ahead right now, so the credits has not been credited yet. So that is their problem. The next subheading in this, refund hitch. However, since filing of GST returns, GSTR 1, 2 and 3 for the month of July 2017 has been extended till October 10th, October 31st and November 10th, 2017 respectively. For GSTR 1, the due date would be October 10th, GSTR 2 October 31 and GSTR 3 November 10th. So the deadline itself is not over. Do you understand? So probably this is the first time they are doing this, so therefore the deadline has been increased. So deadline itself is not over, and the government's problem would be how to release the tax credits even when without having all the tax been submitted. Alright, so exporters will not be able to get the refund by November 2017, it is said in a statement. So however it goes, the exporters will not get a refund by November 2000, will get a refund only by November 2017. As I said in the previous point, GSTR 3 rolls out only by November. The due date for it is to November 10th. So probably after that is done, government will consider releasing the credits to the businesses. Alright, so next point, such blockage of working capital will severely affect exporters' liquidity and enhance the tax burden, it added. So the negatives of these things, alright, these are probably negatives of GST, but not a straight negative, because the tax credit were not released. Alright, so when you're not releasing the tax credit, things are bound to go out of control. So basically they're saying the severe effect would be exporters' liquidity will be on exporters' cash flow, and the tax burden will be enormous, because for the next month also you're supposed to pay the tax. Alright, so already you didn't get the income, the input credit. So without getting the credit, you are supposed to shell out your own cash, alright, the extra tax for the next month. Alright, so which does not make sense, and which would be a big problem for businesses. That's what he's saying. If the refunds are not released by November, then working capital worth about 65,000 crores would be stuck, according to FIEO. This is another fact. So what is the damage that would happen? How much would get stuck? Alright, so by November, if this doesn't happen, 65,000 crores will be stuck. Alright, so there will be loss of 65,000 crores, which is almost $10 billion. Alright, $10.5 billion, which is a huge sum. Alright, so this is about it. That is about it. So let's go to the next heading. Daimler offers Euro 5 ready medium trucks. Daimler, the company that is under Benz, alright, Mercedes-Benz. So they are offering Euro 5 ready medium trucks. So Euro 5, Euro 4 and all that, they are pollution standards. Alright, just like our Bharat stage 1, Bharat stage 2 and all that we have here, right? So the BS1, BS2, the norms for vehicles. I mean, regarding the pollution and the kind of things that they emit. So in Europe, it is known as Euro 5, Euro 4, Euro 3 and all that. We actually got the idea of these sort of restrictions from Europe only. Alright, so let's get to the subheading. NOx emissions 40% less than in BS4. Alright, so we are currently in the BS4 mode, and this Euro 5 standard, alright, while complying to it, so, they have reduced the NOx emissions by 40%, which is a huge number. NOx is nitrogen oxides. Alright, so the oxides coming out of nitrogen, forming with nitrogen, those are known as NOx in short form. So let's get to the news. Daimler India Commercial Vehicles on Tuesday announced the rollout of Euro 5 emission norms compliant medium duty trucks from its Oragadam facility. Alright, the trucks are priced at the same level as that of BS4 vehicles. So BS4, please remember what it is about. Alright, so BS4 and Euro 5. They might ask you what is the current standard, pollution standard in Europe, what currently goes on here, and the auto might be mixed and all that. So anyways, you should know, and this is about the environment too, so therefore you have to know. So the trucks are priced at the same level as that of BS4 vehicles, but the new vehicles emit 40% less nitrogen oxides than BS4 vehicles, said Eric Nessenhoff, MD and CEO of Daimler India. Alright, so this is what they claim. It is 40% less likely to emit nitrogen oxides compared to our current BS4 vehicles. Alright, last point under this, not last point, same one. These medium duty trucks are targeted for intra-city transportation use. Alright, so this is what the medium trucks are going to be used for. They are used for intra-city transportation. Next subheading, eyeing number 2 slot. So highlighting that more than 55,000 Bharat Benz trucks had been rolled out from the Oragadam facility in the last 5 years. Mr. Nesselhoff said the plan was to secure second place in heavy duty trucks soon, before targeting the number 1 slot. So number 1 slot probably is with Tata or L&T, alright? So Ashok Leyland. So these people are targeting for the number 2 slot, alright, which is gonna sideline Tata or Ashok Leyland, alright. So they'll be sidelining that, and they're aiming for the number 2 spot. And next point, the company has exported more than 10,000 trucks since 2013, and it will serve 40 markets by the end of 2017. So this is an example of Make in India kind of thing, alright. So they are making here and they are exporting outside. So this is Modi's dream, alright. So Make in India and exporting it to other countries. So the company Daimler India has done that, alright. So they have exported more than 10,000 trucks since 2013, almost 4 years. So, and he recently has said this will serve 40 markets by the end of 2017. 40 markets means 40 different countries. So they'll be exporting to 40 different countries by the end of 2017. So that is the aim, right? So this is it. Next news piece, business in business. This is going to be the last one. The heading of it is IPO of ICICI Lombard subscribed 3 times. IPO of ICICI Lombard subscribed 3 times. So let's get on with the news. The initial public offering. So what is initial public offering? It is when a company is issuing new shares. Alright, so that is only known as initial public offering. So initial public offer of ICICI Lombard General Insurance, which closed for subscription on Tuesday, was subscribed 2.97 times, with almost 3, alright, on the last day till the time of going to press. Bids were received for 18.31 crore equity shares as against 6.17 equity shares on offer in the price band of rupees 651 to 661. Alright, so meaning, what do you mean by subscription? Alright, see, subscription generally means that you're buying the shares. Alright, that is what general subscription means. So buying the share in market prices. So that is only known as subscription. So the initial public offer will actually give you the shares in price that is slightly lesser than the market value. Alright, so you're taking that price and you're purchasing those shares, alright, with that price. So initially the demand will be low for any public offering, but later it will pick up, and the more demand picks up, the share value would increase. Alright, so just like normal economics, the demand goes up and the price increases accordingly. Alright, demand goes up and the price increases. So when this happens, there will be a lot of money chasing too few shares. Alright, so the amount of money that has been proposed to buy the shares, alright, that would be giving rise to a situation called oversubscription. Alright, so the shares are almost done. Alright, so more than what the shares are worth, those people are ready to offer. So in this case, they were offering 3 times the available shares worth. Alright, so if the shares worth was 100 crores, alright, an estimated amount of 300 crores was coming in, was suggested. Alright, that is only known as subscribed by 3 times. Alright, so which obviously means is a good sign. So next line under this, meanwhile the institutional portion was subscribed 8.17 times, while that reserved for retail and high net worth individuals was subscribed 1.2 times and 0.82 times respectively. So you come to know from this that there are certain shares that are sold only to the high net worth individuals. Alright, ICICI Lombard is not just one thing, it has a lot of subsidiary and all that under them. So certain shares, shares are sold to only those people with high net worth. This is possible in IPO, that you can have it in your mind. And the other point is institutional portion was subscribed 8.17 times. Alright, so the institutional portion means share. Alright, the institutional portion, which means the ICICI's share. Alright, so that was subscribed 8 times, oversubscribed by 8 times, meaning more than it has been 8 times more than the market price was offered to the share. Alright, so that is what it means. So make a note of what IPO is and the oversubscription part. I hope you understand. Oversubscription is how many times one pays to get a share, or he proposes to get a share, how many times it is to the price that is actually initially listed. Alright, so that is known as oversubscription. So 3 times, 8 times, or whatever it is, they will say that the shares has been oversubscribed and all that. Alright, so this is it for today, for 20th September. I will see you in the next news piece. Alright, take care.